All right, welcome to the FIREchat podcast. I'm your host, Rich Rice, and with me today I have Orlando. And how do you say your last name, Orlando?
Naranjo.
Naranjo. Yeah. I don't have the tongue roll. Only when I do French, right. I can get like that, but I can't get the tongue roll on the Spanish there.
It's all right. Like, can you say naranja?
Naranja?
Naranja, like orange. So just okay. At the end, the A, replace it with a no.
Gotcha.
Naranjo.
Gotcha.
So essentially, it comes out to it's an orange tree.
Perfect. Perfect. Well, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
This is the Financial Independence Through Real Estate, or FIREchat podcast. So we like to talk about people's journeys through real estate and life, and either where they've been or where they're going, and all that good stuff. So, Orlando.
Yes, sir.
How long have you been a member now?
2019, I want to say late
2019,
late 2019, early or mid. I can't exactly remember, but it was in 2019.
Cool. So you've been around. You've been around a while. There's your badge is, you have that fire or the pandemic guard badge on there?
I believe I do.
If not, I need to add it.
I need to go back and look at that. But yeah, when I joined, I was very off and on due to my job. You know, I work in the afternoons. So it's very difficult for me to try to attend the meetings.
Okay.
So I plug in. I work for Coca-Cola.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
nice.
I work in operations management, so I manage an offsite facility, but it's just the job itself is very demanding just due to all my roles, all my assignments and responsibilities.
Okay.
So, I mean, I go in 1 in the afternoon and I get out late in the evening or early in the morning.
Wow.
Sometimes 1:30 in the morning.
So it's not really like a swing shift. You have that like afternoon shift.
Right.
Kind
right.
of thing. So are you actually like, when you say Coca-Cola, are you like on the plant or like on the corporate side?
The plant side.
The plant side?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right there in Ontario.
Like the actual, so you're actually making the Coca-Cola?
Not necessarily. I'm familiar with the production and stuff. I'm in tune with all that. But I manage more the shipping and receiving side of things.
Okay.
So customer service, inventory.
Fulfillment, all that.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah, fulfillment. Right on. Exactly.
Right on. Right on. How long have you been doing that?
Started in 2015. So going on 9 years.
Okay. And so, I mean, dang, if you, if you started in the club in 2019, you've seen a lot of change.
Oh yeah.
Over the last, you went through COVID with the club and,
Oh yeah. I was more of a spectator back then, and it wasn't probably till 2021, late 2021, I started becoming more of a participator.
Gotcha.
So I started getting more involved, started plugging in more, started telling myself I need to be more consistent with showing up. I mean, that's where it starts.
Yeah, absolutely.
And yeah, ever since it's just been try to maintain that consistency no matter what. If work gets in the way, oh well, try again. If can't go to the meeting, plug into Exchangers through Zoom. So just try to figure out how to stay plugged in and try to keep it consistent.
Yeah, absolutely. So. And I like what you said about Exchangers on the Zoom part, because even if you can't make it in person, we do have that Zoom ability. I mean, even if you only get it, if you start at 1, you get like an hour in, and then but
I'll take it. That was my starting point. And now we're on Exchangers. A lot of stuff sounded foreign. Even trying to read the chart, seemed very unfamiliar. But again, it was just that sticking to that consistency. Like, all right, let's keep going. Just stay plugged in. Things are going to start making sense. And it's just more. I credit that more to the background that I've had prior to doing real estate, getting involved in real estate and Coca-Cola. Back in 2007, 2008, I was involved in network marketing.
Oh,
so that was my first exposure to business ever. But people have their opinions about network marketing. That's a horse of a different color. We won't go too much into details.
So when you say network marketing, what are you?
Multi-level marketing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So, but I will say I was very lucky enough to be part of a good company that focused a lot on leadership, a lot on development. So I had a really good mentor by the name of Cesar Gomez that prior to meeting him, I was a small thinker, very knuckleheaded small thinker.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like, give me an example.
My life revolved more around partying than anything else. So
I'm sure,
that's it.
A lot of us out there.
Got paid, and my priority was let's go party, and the bills will get paid after. And how Jim Rohn says, at the end of the day, I had too much month at the end of the money and trying to figure it out.
I hadn't heard that from him before. Nice.
But the only thing I was able to figure out is that it's the weekend's here, let's go party. And it was just a very unproductive cycle.
Yeah. No,
so meeting my mentor, he broke me out of that cycle, verbally slapped me around a little bit by things that he would tell me. But so that experience, he taught me a lot. I was hanging out with him for about 2 years. And I got to spend a lot of time with him due to my circumstances. Market crashed. I wasn't working, try to get a job.
Gotcha.
So just trying to make the most out of it.
Gotcha.
So I consider myself very lucky in that situation.
Yeah. Yeah. And, like you said, I'm sure people have opinions on MLM and all that stuff, but there's definitely if you're actually doing it, like the skills you're learning.
Exactly.
Maybe not the product itself is, but the skills you're learning and doing it is all the same skills that, that's how we started the Fire Fast boot camp was like, tell everybody what you do, call people, and they tell you the same stuff. It's like, use your network. Right?
And like most of us, The Rich Dad, Poor Dad was the book that broke me out of the chains. I also got Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich.
Okay.
And The Challenge to Succeed by Jim Rohn. Those 3 books right there. Well, they were audiobooks. Again, through network marketing, I adopted the whole idea of turning your car into a mobile classroom. So it's been constant, just staying plugged in, listening to audiobooks. Before the podcasts were a thing, there were seminars that I would get recorded.
Yeah.
And just put them in my iPod and get to go on the gym, driving around, or if I was at work. Constant development.
And what did you call? What did you turn your car into a mobile classroom?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Elaborate on that a little bit for me.
Just
like for people that wouldn't know what that's going on.
Oh, it's very simple. I mean, instead of listening to music, listen to an audiobook. Before me plugging into personal development, my life revolved around listening to rap music. So that kind of gives an idea of how I would carry myself too. One of the things that I was told early on was change your vocabulary, change your world. And through my mobile classroom, I learned how to communicate better. I learned how to change my vocabulary, how I talk, how I approach, how I talk to people, everything. It became
Absolutely.
more of a science and understanding how it's not what you say, but it's how you say it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, I kind of taught myself too, words have levels. So you could have a basic term of a word and you could figure out the most offensive way to say it in profanity, or you could figure out the most sophisticated way of saying it. Regardless, you're still going to get your point across. It's just figuring out how to say that, how to convey your message across. So
I like that. Yeah, I had the mobile classroom thing I hadn't heard put that way. I did outside sales for a long time.
Okay.
And they always called it the windshield time.
Oh,
like
okay.
So like don't waste your windshield time was big. It was like, I had a sales territory of sometimes is, like the metropolitan area. Like, I had all of Phoenix for a while. And then part of it, I had, 3 states and I was driving a lot. So they were like,
oh, wow. Okay.
Don't waste that windshield time. Like do something with it, call people or listen to something, like grow, so. Yeah. So that's a big one. And I think people, not that there's any, everybody wants to like veg out, listen to music every once in a while. It's not saying like never listen to music, but like,
nothing wrong with that. And every now and then I'll take a personal development break and just listen to music, put it at ignorant levels when I'm driving and just jam out a little bit just to have that disconnect. Cause you need that. You need disconnects every now and then.
Yeah, for sure.
And essentially that's like taking a break, catching a breath of fresh air, just going back and going all over again. And you're re-energized.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. What was the Jim Rohn book?
Challenge to Succeed.
Okay. I haven't read that one.
Oh, it's I know it more of an audiobook. I haven't seen the book itself, but for me, Jim Rohn, like that's the GOAT.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Like I just went off the deep end when I learned about Jim Rohn and just all the things he talks about, just building your character. Talks about goal setting, so you have an idea how to structure your goals. Talks about making it a goal to become a millionaire, not because of getting the money, but of the person who you become in the process of becoming a millionaire. He also talks about be careful of who you become in pursuit of what you want. And he uses Judas as an example. He got the gold, but what happened after? Yeah. So, I'm an amateur on the Bible, but I think we're all familiar with that story.
Somewhere around that.
Yeah. So it's just, that's all it was. Just constant development, constant just training myself. That's how I looked at it. Growing up playing sports, it's all about how you prepare before the game. And
absolutely,
that for me doing this was the same approach. Like, okay, I don't know anything. How do I start? Start preparing yourself.
Gotcha. What'd you play?
Basketball. Played basketball, middle school all the way to high school, into my adulthood.
Really?
And volleyball 1 year. I do regret not starting sooner volleyball.
Oh yeah, you liked it?
Oh, I loved it, man, dude. Just going up there, spiking the ball, hitting. So it was mostly I only did play volleyball. No. No, I mean it was more like I played volleyball. The coach was constantly trying to recruit the basketball players, and he would tell us,
sure.
Yeah, I could improve your vertical. Nah, get away from me.
Yeah, whatever.
Till my senior year, I opened up to that possibility, and I was like, yeah, I should have done this sooner. But it was fun. But again, that mindset of being an athlete and just practice, train, prepare, all for what, a game, and then you execute right there at the game. I look at this as it's no different. There's a lot of parallels, and you just take everything that you learned along the way and just start applying it.
Yeah, it's a discipline.
Yeah, exactly.
Discipline, I wasn't an athlete. My dad was, but
Nice.
my dad it was funny. My dad was like the star athlete, and but didn't focus on his studies.
Okay.
And then so like with me, he took like the complete opposite approach. He's like, you're not playing sports. You're going to focus on your studies. And I mean, I did play sports, like up until, I don't know, probably like 4th or 5th grade. And then as soon as my studies started to slip, I think he saw like the same thing, like in him, that he saw, like he saw me caring about sports more than school. And he was just like, nope.
Yeah. Hard no.
So, cause I wanted to go out for football and in high school, and they were like, nope.
It happens, I mean,
it's all good.
Got to maintain the focus.
I became a nerd instead, so
nothing wrong with that. I'm guilty. I mean, it was weird for me. I was able to sustain the grades and play sports, so that was cool. Very unusual. And looking back, I was shocked. I was more surprised when it was announced that hey, you're graduating with honors. Really? Like how?
Awesome, dude.
How?
Cool.
Like,
did you go to school around here?
No, I grew up in LA. So I grew up in a city called.
I'm a Dodger fan. I like the shirt. I don't know about that.
Well, come on. It's a combo package.
I'm just kidding. Angels, Dodgers, whatever.
Well,
it's all local stuff.
I like more of the brand. I grew up in LA, so it's more of me of the brand. Like, I did grow up liking the Lakers, but now it's more, I like the brand, not much of the team. I don't focus more on the sports. I focus more on the athlete's development. That's mostly why I watch sports. I like watching.
So you're a player fan. You're like a player fan?
Exactly. Yeah. I like, I think David Goggins talks about it, like the mindset of the athlete. I like watching that.
Yeah, that's cool.
I like watching how they handle pressure and how they react, how they control their emotions on the court or on the field. It's all leadership. Yeah. And it's me just being an observer, taking notes, like, okay, that's cool. Or like, nah, I don't agree with that. And just studying it.
So who's like right now, I guess it doesn't necessarily have to be an up-and-comer, but like, who's your, if you had one, like who's your favorite or most respected player for like maybe their mindset, not necessarily their game, but their...
Dude, Kobe Bryant.
Yeah?
All time.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah. Just, you have that comparison, like he's as great as Michael Jordan. But I mean, he even talks about it. Like what most people don't realize is that he went to Michael Jordan and he taught him a lot. Like he went to him and Michael Jordan mentored him. Wow. And he talked about it like, what you see from me is because you got from him. So for me, it's just studying Kobe Bryant, how he went about things. I mean, just guy was vicious on the court. And then knowing that he developed an alter ego, Black Mamba, to develop that viciousness.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know any of that.
Oh, yeah, dude.
That's cool.
So,
I mean, I know Kobe. But like,
again, I like studying the athletes and what they do. I like seeing the work that they did. Because when we see them on the court performing, they make it look so easy. Yeah.
I know he definitely grew a lot, especially in the second half of his career, versus, I think a lot of people kind of discounted him for, not discounted his skills by any means, but like, I think prior to certain scandals and stuff, he was, a little more immature, and then came out of that like, totally like a leader.
That leadership, testament of leadership. Like you could be in a pretty dark area and still come out. Just you got to be persistent. Yeah, that's it. You got to keep trying, keep going, and that's what I mean. You start studying that, like the work ethic put behind all that work. You're like, okay, you kind of start formulating an idea of what it's going to take, and you hear it in athletes, you hear it in business, people talk about like, yeah, you go through a growing pain.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, so me, I'm like, ooh, I want to know what that looked like.
Yeah.
Again, it's me more preparation. You got to mentally prepare yourself, the good, the bad, have your contingencies. And it's just those values that, they pay out pretty well. Something's going well, what if it doesn't? What's your plan for that?
Yeah, for sure. So I'm sure he wrote a couple books or had a couple books.
Yeah.
At some point, Kobe did.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's anything in particular that always stuck with you that out of those, or
the books, how he approached it?
Yeah.
He approached it, and his whole intention was he wanted to tell stories. And come to find out, was it Stephen King wrote a book on how to write a book? And
did he?
Yeah.
Interesting.
And yeah, I've been wanting to check it out.
Yeah.
But Kobe Bryant studied that book, and that's how he got into storytelling and writing books, and getting into writing books. So yeah, it's pretty interesting. You start looking at that like, well, and I'm very curious in that manner, like, well, how did that come about, or how did they do that? Who cares about the result? I want to see the process. And
yeah, for sure.
And yeah, it's very, very interesting for me. It's very, just love staying fascinated and learning things.
Yes, but so, I mean, if you're, so it sounds like you definitely have a very high respect and interest in leadership.
Oh yeah.
So like for you personally, like, is that your goal? Do you want to be a leader or
in a position of leadership?
Are you a leader now?
At work, yeah.
Okay.
From a business standpoint, not yet. I'm just getting there. But yeah, it's just I've always been involved in leadership roles with what I do with a job. I've always been a supervisor, management roles, continuous improvement, figuring out problems.
It's good skill to have for real estate.
So yeah, and that's exactly how I'm looking at it, and just reflecting. It's more like, well, I've already acquired all these skills. Just looking back at my journey since network marketing, personal development. Did a few sales jobs, so I know what that's like. I know what rejection feels like. Make a game out of it. Yeah, just keep going. I mean, once like what your goal is, the end game, and just figure it out.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, on that note, what's the long-term goal? Or what is the goal? What's the end game look like?
For me?
Yeah.
Have multiple businesses. I guess you could say the typical goals for the newcomers.
Yeah.
Generational wealth. I like to call it sustainable generational wealth.
Okay. Where do you I could probably guess what you mean by that, but like what does that mean? I guess people say generational wealth, or what's the sustainable part? Like, where does that come in?
Just keeping track of what's been happening lately, just with economy and stuff, and the world events. I mean, you have to have more of a recession-resistant business. So that's, for me, that's the end game. If I could figure that out, figure out those ends and how to leverage that,
Well, a lot of people would say that, you buy it right. The real estate's pretty recession proof, or at least the cash flow.
And that's why I'm
here. And obviously there's caveats to that and exceptions to that, but for the most part, what kind of, I noticed you mentioned businesses, that you want to own multiple businesses. Why multiples, and what would they be?
It's just the path. Ever since after network marketing, I was more just, I want a business.
Okay.
That just has always been the goal. And in that process, I guess it's safe to say I became a serial entrepreneur, just looking at several businesses. There's some that I really liked looking into. More particular, boring businesses.
Yeah, like what?
Like a car wash.
Wow.
Those self-washing.
The Breaking Bad.
Yeah, man. Walter White. You know what? That's one of the reasons why I want that. Just watching Breaking Bad and Walter White had a car wash. I want a car wash.
I mean, they made it seem a little, pretty cool.
But I mean, overall, it's a boring business, and doing homework on it, it's pretty self-sustainable. I mean, just have to.
Yeah, I mean, especially now. I mean, they got I don't know if you've. I feel like they're sprouting up all over the place. These the age of like the grungy, kind of rundown car wash, like, small town car wash is kind of seems over, and all these like the duck wash or whatever they're called now, like they're everywhere.
Exactly.
And they're all automated. It's like, it's not full service anymore. It's I don't know. It's that's all right. I got to get new mic stands.
We'll work with it. It's all right.
You could try and turn that knob a little tighter. There you go.
All right. There we go.
So yeah, like these car washes now have popped up that are, they're automated. They're using technology. I have one. I have like a membership to one. You just pull up.
See, there you go.
And the gate opens up. Nobody even talks to you. You just pull through. They do a little quickie on the bumper, and
there you go.
And send you through, and that's it.
Even better. A boring
and I love it.
Boring business with a subscription. That's even better.
Yeah.
Think about it.
And I met somebody. Somebody came to the club. Came to Exchangers. About 3 or 4 months ago.
Okay.
And he owned a bunch of those. And I was like, nice. I had to write down his number. I got it somewhere.
I want to say I remember that, but I vaguely remember.
He owned I don't know, 100 car washes across the Southwest or something like that. And I was like, of all the businesses you could own, that seems like a pretty decent one. I'm thinking I'm with you on that one. All right, what else?
Walter White. I took a look at vending machines. Vending machines, it seems very simple, straightforward. But ultimately, like, I do want to start creating other forms of businesses due to what I'm getting involved with in real estate. And I think I could tie them all in together. Because what we're doing, my wife and I, we're getting involved in real estate through opening up sober living homes.
Okay.
So essentially, you're going to have individuals there that are looking for jobs. Most of these individuals, have some sort of record or a past that could probably limit them from finding a job. If I have a car wash, hey, I could hire you.
Very true.
If I have a vending machine business, I could hire you.
Yeah.
So, just keeping it all within that circle, keeping it a bit inclusive. But yeah, that's we didn't even get into that. That's what we're getting.
We can pivot. So you guys, you want to? So I didn't know that you were. So you're why? So you're looking at shared housing. It's kind of the umbrella, right?
Correct.
It's sober living, assisted living.
Assisted living, yeah.
What's the other one that people have been doing quite a bit of?
Developmentally disabled.
I hadn't heard that one. Senior living, I think, falls under that.
Senior living is kind of like assisted living as well. It just depends on how you're setting it up.
And I think the other one was, I don't know what the term is for it, but it's like women that have, it's targeted mainly towards women that are like abusive households or,
yes.
Or, and I don't know what the term is for that, but
I know what you're talking about.
That all sounds very interesting. What made you choose sober living?
A combination of things, but mostly was my wife back in 2020. She suggested the idea.
Okay.
Because for me in 2019, that's when I decided, okay, I'm going to go in real estate. Originally, my original plan was become a real estate agent, learn how to become a top producer, get after it, become a top producer, put away the commissions, and invest in commercial real estate. Seemed like a solid idea at the time.
I mean, people do it.
But yeah.
That's not what I would do. But
okay, that's what I mean. When I started showing up to the club, and here I am thinking like I have a solid idea, and just talking to club members, like, whoa.
Everyone's like, you want a job?
Yeah, like, wait. And actually, it was Andy that he was the first one that I mentioned, and he's like, why do you want a license? Like, why do you want to give yourself another job? I'm like, wait a minute, what do you mean? And just those cogs just started working. Like, what do you mean? Like, okay, share with me your perspective. Like, what are you talking about? What do you know? So I got very curious, and that led me to wholesaling.
Okay.
Didn't have much success due to my job and just the time availability.
Wholesaling is a great. I mean, so is an agent. But,
yeah, they're very parallel. But again, it's just that demand of time was, I can't fulfill that right now, or not yet at least. So that led me to note investing. Took Andy's class and got really excited. Was venturing into mobile homes, but then made that pivot. And again, it was just due to my wife's idea. And
so what I think is cool is also you mentioned, you just said it again. So your wife's on board with all this.
Oh yeah,
we're awesome.
we're business partners in this, and I will say it's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Watching videos of people talking about, who your partner is, and when you go into business, that matters. I could see that. I could see why people say that. But yeah, originally it was her idea, and it was attending Brianna's MTR training that it sparked that idea and got neurons just firing at a rapid rate.
Okay.
Hearing Brianna talking about guest avatars, and you specify it, and it just, this whole vision just came in front of me like, holy crap, like we could do this. This is the way to doing it.
Yeah, and I think she telling me that you guys are, if you're open to talk about it, you guys are working on something together?
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah, so, we're currently working on a house in Eastvale right now. Okay,
so you found something. You mind talking about some of the parameters? You don't have to give like the actual, the number or whatever you're comfortable with.
No, I think
it's kind of still in the works. So
I think it was how everything came about was just the result of just, the whole thing, asking you shall receive, and a little bit of consistency. Just plugging into the meetings, staying consistent as much as possible. Trying to figure out how can I get involved in real estate. Like I'm just trying to get my foot in the door, and just that hunger, that frustration, that pain. Like, dude, I'm trying so much, trying so hard, nothing's happening. Like, what am I doing wrong? Like, what do I need to fix? And I couldn't figure that out for myself. Ultimately, what I came up with is that I wasn't plugging into meetings long enough.
Okay, that's
what I'm thinking of. I mean,
it's the spark fires at certain times with different people.
Well, let me put it to you this way: like playing Monday morning quarterback. What if I didn't attend Brianna's MTR training? We probably wouldn't be here having this conversation. Yeah. I probably wouldn't be working with Brianna. Yeah. And everything that's going on right now probably wouldn't be happening.
Gotcha. So, and for those of you listening that are hearing, they're like, who the heck is this Brianna person? Brianna Williams is one of our sponsors, actually, from Mumford Design. She designs and kits out and all kinds of interior designs, MTRs, STRs, and she did a talk at one of our Fire Focus events that happens every Wednesday. Probably like a month or two ago.
It was in May. Yeah, about a couple of months.
Wow, it was already. Jeez, this year's flying by.
Yeah. Right?
And we do those routinely, but right now, yeah. So if you want to check her out, you can Google her. But so from that meeting, the spark or something clicked, and you guys and then you went and found this deal. So how did you find this? That it's a house that you're. Yeah. Did you buy it or?
No, we're going to arbitrage it.
Okay.
It's an arbitrage, and again, it was just asking, you shall receive. Call it divine intervention, the universe answering your questions. I mean, whatever you believe in, that's what happened. I reached out to Brianna through Instagram and just, asked. I was very inquisitive about if she knew about any guest avatars for sober living homes. She was pretty familiar. She has people. She had mentioned that people had already inquired to her about that. And it was, again, just a strike of luck. She was working on the property in Eastvale, trying to figure out how to arbitrage it because the owner was willing to do that. And every approach that she was taking just was falling a little bit short in terms of how much was going to be generated. So then me messaging her again, it just with her, it was in that moment of clarity as well. Like, okay, this could work in this house, and looking more into it, it's very possible it's going to work. It will work.
Awesome.
And
you guys are still going forward with it, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've had a little speed bumps on the road, but
that happens.
I tell my wife setbacks are set up for comebacks, and doing this process, this journey, it's been a testament of it, just having challenges and just looking at it like, oh, well, I was anticipating this, let's just get through it.
Yeah.
And just keep moving forward.
Yeah. So you were at the Fire Focus event, you saw Brianna talk. And then you messaged her. She was already working on it with somebody, and
Correct.
then so you guys jumped in.
Correct.
And decided, so what? Like, how do all the numbers shake down?
It depends on how you want to structure the house. So I guess you could say the best way I could explain it is you charge a rate per bed. So it's kind of a hybrid. You take everything from real estate, from being a landlord. And I guess you could say a fix and flipper, and you just start linking the parallels. So in the terms of landlord, you have a tenant, right? You're only charging one family for the house. In the terms of a sober living home, you're charging guests multiple beds a fee.
Okay.
So the house that we're working with right now, we're projecting that it'll house 16 beds.
Okay.
And each bed has its rate. Like the master bedroom, we're looking at it like it's going to be more of a premium rate, and we're going to charge $1,400 per bed on that.
How many beds are in the master?
4 bedrooms.
Okay.
But I mean, you're talking about a beautiful home, beautiful master bedroom.
I'm sure.
I mean,
sure.
I want to move in
some
there.
of those homes in Eastville are huge.
Yeah.
How many square feet is it?
I don't remember. I wish I wrote that down.
Okay.
If I had a guess,
It's got to be at least like 3,000 square feet.
I think it's like 4,600 square feet. It's a big,
big
beautiful
house.
Huge home. Beautiful.
So you guys are gonna, you're gonna pay the owner whatever they want for how long are you locking them in for?
Long term. We're still discussing that.
Okay.
Everything's still not final, but we're still in the talks.
Gotcha.
But yeah, definitely, we're looking at long term.
Cool. So I mean, ideally, whatever, I mean, 16 beds. I mean, yeah, you're looking at what, like at least 20,000 a month, somewhere around there.
Technically, yeah. But the other beds we're going to charge $1,200 just to differentiate the difference. And the thing also with sober homes, when you have like a house lead or a house manager,
they don't typically stay in there.
Stay for free or at a discount. Right. So the house lead and the assistant, we're projecting at about $800 a bed.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, it's projected to generate about 18,000 a month.
So you're in like the pretty much design and still negotiating with the owners stage. You're at the very, very beginning.
Oh yeah, we're
of this still
the baby phases. Yeah.
Okay.
Or infancy. So,
And when you talk to the owner, I'm assuming like that you're telling them what you're going to do and.
Oh yeah, full transparency.
And are these people like, they just have a really big ass house and they want to rent it out, or like what's their motivation?
They have a really big house, but they're moving out. Okay. They're moving to another state, and the owner doesn't want to get rid of the house. So that's what he was trying to figure out, how to keep the house but still pay off the mortgage. So currently with the owner, to my understanding, is as long as the mortgage gets paid off, I'm fine. But this is a really cool part. The owner now watching the work that we're doing. Originally, he had intended on setting up as a residential assisted living home.
Oh, okay. Oh, the owner was going to do it themselves?
That's what he was looking for. That was his intention. Excuse me. But there's more work that goes into that. Licensing, all that stuff. Sober living homes, you don't need a license if you're not providing any treatment. So essentially, again, looking at real estate, I look at it more like we're providing housing in the form of a hotel. So yeah.
I mean, and most people, I mean, I've had friends that did this in the past too, was, it's all very structured too. It's not they just get to live there for $1,400 a month, right?
Correct.
There's
house rules,
there's
house
rules,
requirements.
There's meetings that they have to go to, like at the house.
Yep.
Yep.
And if they don't comply with the requirements of the house, they don't get to stay there.
Yeah, and they're jeopardizing like everybody else's sobriety, and
correct.
They get
correct.
But it's for the people listening that maybe don't know what sober living is, like it's definitely not a halfway house. Like correct. It's the complete opposite as far as people hear that and they're like, oh well, they're just a bunch of hooligans running around, and it's not that at all.
Yep.
Like
That's such a bad perception. That's not even close to the reality of it.
And it's really cool. Like the ones that I've been inside, it's usually very nice houses.
Okay.
Everything's set up for, mindfulness and Zen and and kind of like healing. Healing, people trying to heal through their issues and their trauma and maintain their sobriety, and and that's all very important. So it's aside from the real estate side of it, that's a very, I'm sure, fulfilling side of thing too, just the human side of it.
It's what I call it's the highest calling of leadership, to be of service.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I mean, back in 2020, my wife and I, we were in that world of recovery. So we got to see a lot. My wife was involved in the recovery. So I'll share this with you guys. So back in 2020, due to mental health, she found herself in a recovery center.
Okay.
And in that process, that's where we saw a lot of things that are open to improvement.
Yeah.
And just the background that her and I have, we come from an operational excellence standpoint, and we're always looking like what's open for continuous improvement. We go to restaurants and we see something off. We're like, oh, they could do that better. So,
yeah.
But we're just geared with that lens because of the work that we used to do in the past. And so,
and I respect that because I do the same thing. I'm constantly my brain works on like finding inefficiencies and solving them.
Yep, continuous improvement.
And and other people don't work that way. I remember I was talking about buying a bowling alley at one point.
Oh, nice.
And I was talking to somebody who I absolutely respect and love their opinion and their input, and but I was like, I could do this, this, and this, and they were like, well, like, how do you know that? It's like the way they put it was like, it was like I shouldn't think that way because there's probably a reason that they do things the way they're doing it, and I was like, oh, that's fair, that's fair, but that doesn't mean that it can't still be improved.
Exactly.
I'm not saying I have all the answers, but some of them.
but there's that drive, like, hey, we could do this better.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Keep an open mind to it.
So,
but
the all right. So is sober living is that the one? Are you trying to do multiples of these with different?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. This one house that we're working on right now, and then I was mentioning earlier. The owner, he's watching us do all this work, and he already made me aware of that to prepare myself for the house that he's acquiring in November.
Oh, wow.
So he's anticipating getting it in November, and he wants to convert it into a sober home.
Interesting. So,
yeah, very interesting. And along with that, one of the speed bumps that we had, Farah helped us out, and she jumped in on the deal. We JV'd because now she's potentially looking at a house in Riverside. So it's so crazy how one house now has the potential to turn into 3 houses.
Yeah, absolutely.
So for everyone, that's great, but let's keep multiplying that. But right now I'm good with 3. Like if, let's say hypothetically we everything takes off in a year, I just want to do 3 houses. And that's more because I don't want to overload myself. Just hearing people starting off, doing homework, and just, again, being a student of studying people. 3 houses seems like a good number. Just to get acclimated, start putting your procedures in place, your processes. And the main thing I want to do is create a system. Once I get that dialed in, it's all about copy and paste after that point.
Yeah, for sure.
So
it's funny you mentioned that because I'm going to do a Fire Focus event. I'm filling in for Jim and Evan.
Okay.
In a couple weeks, and the talk is about systemizing your flips. And getting those down, and just why does every house look the same at the end? Well,
it's a system. The way
my guys know what cabinets to buy, and so.
But even then, like somebody once told me that system is just an acronym for save yourself time, energy, and money. And
I like that.
Yeah. So yeah, and that's how I approach it. Like, dude, I need a system. Like as soon as I find the system and figure out and create it, it's all downhill after that. So the challenge is going uphill.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah. But again, going back to Jim Rohn, I love what he talks about getting after your goals and your challenges. Like look at it like a mountain and just tell yourself either I'm going to climb that mountain and you're going to see me waving at the top, or you're going to see me dead on the side, but at least I tried.
Yeah.
And that's the mindset in approaching everything right now.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
Who cares? I'm like, it's tough. Oh, well, keep going.
Hey, none of this stuff is, the best stuff's not the easiest. Not
exactly.
Easy. It's if it's easy, everybody be doing it. Even if you make it look easy.
Exactly.
It's a lot of the stuff is, it gets easier. When you get some of these systems in place and
exactly.
And figure it out. But to start with, it's tough. It's tough. There's a lot of
the challenge to succeed, man.
Parts.
That's the challenge to succeed, and that's what makes it worthwhile.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited for. It sounds like you got multiple club members in there now.
Very, very lucky and fortunate. The way it all came together, like again, it's asking you shall receive.
Yeah, that's cool.
Coming into the clubs at exchangers meetings, there were times where I would get upset at myself for not being involved. And some of the members that I'm working with right now, like I would get mad because that person got in a deal with that much. Like, so then I would go to my wife, like, just frustrated, like, why am I hesitating? And it full circle, people that I was upset that I felt like I missed out on deals on to work with them and learn from them. Now I'm working with them.
That's awesome.
So it's just like, wow.
That's what we're all here for, right?
Yeah. And dude, I will say this, like, I love the culture here. Everyone is genuinely interested in watching you succeed.
Yeah.
You don't see that very often in other places. And that's what got me. Like my second meeting that I went to, second meeting was at the Mission Inn.
Yeah, back then. Yeah,
back then. Yep. And I found myself having a conversation with Jim Keller. And he was just very adamant about, you need a team. If you're new to this, get a team. But on top of that, he was talking about Mike Kent too. It just happened to be Mike Kent too was there at that same meeting. Yeah. And I found myself having a conversation with him after the meeting. The most interesting thing is that most of that conversation him and I had went uninterrupted.
With Mike?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm you see it kind of here in the meeting after the meetings, everybody wants to talk to everyone. So kind of like conversations get at a pause. And I get that and I understand that. Everybody just wants to talk. But I didn't experience that with him. So it was like, I'm in. Just talking to him, listening to him talk, sharing his insight. Then I was like, okay, it's in. I'm in. But there was other reasons too why I just wanted to get in real estate into the club. I'll share this one with you. This is like a epiphany moment, I guess you could say. Yeah. So I was listening to a Bigger Pockets episode. And that's how I started like just educating myself through real estate. And that's how I found the club as well, because they're very big on finding your local real estate club. But in that episode, it brought me back to the time of my childhood when I was about 12 or 13 years old. This was 95, 96. My parents are getting ready to buy a house. So my uncle, my dad's cousin, he's the real estate agent, showing us around. They get into watching properties. My mom's really fascinated about this property, but it's a bit out of their price range.
Okay.
So my uncle shows them another property. It's a single family home, 3-2. Behind it, there's like this rectangular stretch of land. My uncle tells my dad, look, if I were you, I would buy this house, make a sacrifice for about a year, refinance it, pull out some cash. It's like, you have enough land right here to build 2 or 3 houses. He's like, collect the rent from them and then they take care of you. This was when I was a kid.
Yeah. You said you were like 12. Yeah.
I'm a grown man listening to Bigger Pockets. I'm like, dude, they're talking about house hacking. And back in 96, my uncle was talking about it.
Yeah.
Again, it was just more confirmation. Like, this is what I need to do.
So did your parents take your uncle's advice? Or?
Unfortunately, no. No, they hesitated. And shortly after that, my dad had a stroke and has been on disability ever since.
Sorry to hear that.
So that's all right. I mean, he's good. I mean, but that dream that they had, it was, didn't. Yeah. So that's why I'm here. See if I could, pick up their broken plates and get it going. Yeah.
So you remember that? Yeah. I remember stuff too. Like, my parents were always interested in real estate.
Nice.
They bought houses, not as an investor. That's the difference now is, but as an, when I was a kid, we moved like every 2 years. My parents they were always going to, different open houses and cruising around, and we were always remodeling. My dad was a kitchen remodeling contractor, so, but it was always more of that. I see it now as more of, it was more that lifestyle creep on why we moved so much, because they were doing better and better and better. And then, but it was really just a house of cards of debt and, mismanaged companies and, and it all just came crumbling down when I was like a teenager. And, so I look back now and have similar, like I didn't have an epiphany like that, but I know, it's like, okay, well, let's not let that lifestyle creep. It's just hard. It's really hard.
It's
you start doing
hard.
well and
that temptation.
You're like, you need that Corvette.
Temptation, man. It's a hard thing, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
your uncle was house hacking, or was at least thinking about it.
Yeah.
Back in the 90s. It's funny. Yeah, a lot of these concepts have been around a long time, and they just keep getting rebranded.
yeah. So for me, I was like, holy heck, like that's clever. Yeah. And it just got those neurons firing. I'm like, all right, let's do this.
What's your uncle doing now?
I don't know. If I had to guess, he's probably still in real estate. I don't know. Yeah.
Gotcha. So what else is on this, these notes? You're the first one that's brought in notes. So
contingencies, man. If I blank out, like I told you when I saw you, man, I was nervous, more nervous than a snitch at a gangster party.
It's not that bad.
No, it's really not. I mean, once you just get lathered in, it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I have a bunch of people that are like, I'm just really nervous. I don't know what we're going to talk about. I'm like, it's only an hour. Like, don't worry. Like,
well, yeah, it's just getting yourself in that mind frame too. It's just more like, what am I going to get myself into? But once we sat down 5 minutes in, I was like, all right, it's not that bad.
Yeah. Yeah. And granted, I haven't actually been on anybody else's podcast, so I don't know what it feels like to sit in the other seat.
Well, want to trade one day?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Sure. I would like to do some kind of like guest hosts or, let people run with it in different ways. And I mean, that's really the club in general. Like, I don't want to, just like top down direct everything forever. It's just that was needed for a certain amount of time. And, ideally I want to pass stuff off and let people run with it and, build their own stuff. So
pass the baton, that's all it is.
So that's the idea. But so what else you got?
So the notes, it was just little key points that I was writing. Like we're going to, we didn't even talk about who the sober living home is focused for.
Oh yeah. Let's go.
For women. So we're going to open a sober living home for women.
Gotcha. That is a new one. I hadn't seen people do that one yet.
Yeah. So we're going to go with women, and we're going to build I have a hard time saying this word, so bear with me. Amenities. Oh, amenities. Amenities. There you go.
There you go.
Yeah. So part of those amenities. There you go. I like doing that because there's no limit to how creative he could be, as long as it's productive. Yeah. So one of the things that we're going to do is host a monthly family event.
Okay.
So where our guests could bring a family or loved one. Probably we're thinking about up to 3 guests, and we're going to have catering done. Nice. Now through the catering, we're going to reach out to local culinary schools and ask the chefs to be volunteers.
Oh, that'd be cool. That's a really good idea.
They need to practice, and we'll provide the food, and it's a win-win. Similar, like, and it's just, like I said, just honing in on what you want to do. We're fortunate enough to get a yoga instructor to agree to volunteer an hour of her time every week to go provide yoga instructions.
Very cool.
Yoga classes. Also nutritionists to teach them about proper nutrition and how to sustain proper health. So that's just a start. I mean, we're just going to keep building on that. That's
cool. And that's what I was talking about. Those, the amenities, the real step above, like these are really like elevated type of, facilities, like to have that kind of, it's all important, right? I mean, it's all, it's not just putting the bottle down or the pills or whatever. It's not, cause it's sober from everything, right? It's not just like alcohol, but, but part of that is it's more than just putting the substance down. It's a mindset, your nutrition, your, taking care of yourself.
Staying plugged into a good support system. Mental health is big.
Yeah. Well, usually it's, probably 90% of the cases is that's what causes it to begin with.
So, yeah. And then, taking that approach, it's all leadership. Just like how you have to approach it with compassion, but you also have to keep in mind, like, what I'm doing, I'm providing a form of structure for these individuals' lives that eventually they're going to adopt. So you have to keep that in mind. Like, whatever we teach them or structure we put in place, or they could adopt for the rest of their life. Yeah. So my intention, or my wife's, our intention is set them up for success. That's the best possible
Yeah,
outcome.
lifelong. It's not just about getting sober in the short term or staying sober in the short term, right?
Long term.
It's like lifelong
Exactly.
skills.
And heck, if we have guests that are interested in building a business, come on board.
Yeah.
Hey, that's
absolutely.
fine.
That's cool.
I like that.
That's cool.
But yeah, so it's very exciting. It's a little bit nervous, a little bit nerve wracking because venturing
that
into
means you're doing something exciting.
Yeah, venturing into a lot of unknowns. Yeah. But I will say, going back to the club, I mean, there's just that support system. Mm-hmm. So that right there is huge, and you get the confidence of, well, if I can't figure this out, somebody in the club would know. I could call somebody and they could figure it out for me, or they could tell me, I don't know, but call this person, and they'll figure it out for you.
Yeah.
And a lot of the stuff that I've been involved in the past 2 months has been revolving around that concept.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So that tribe building, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because you're going to need help. You may not need it to start. Maybe you're a self-starter and you don't really need a whole lot of guidance to get moving. You just need the info. But at some point, you're going to run into something that you're not going to know, and you're going to need help. Yeah. It happens to me all the time. I run the club, and
No, but it's true.
It happens to me all the time where you see me, I post on Facebook in the Facebook group, or hey,
you don't,
I don't, there's a lot that I don't know, and I'm more than willing to admit that.
Yep. You don't know what you don't know.
And I try and help everybody I can. And if not, I point them in the right direction, or at least what I think is the right direction. But yeah, I'm constantly asking for help. Every day is a new, challenge of something that comes up that you're like, yeah, somebody out there has done it before.
That's what it's about.
Why reinvent the wheel? Just
copy and paste. Find someone that has information and copy and paste.
Yep. There's a whole book on. There's a whole book. I forgot the author's name, but it's like copy your way to success.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And it's just like an unabashed book about just, it's fine to copy things. You're not claiming it's your own. It's, don't plagiarize.
Yeah.
But if somebody's already done something and they've done it well, there's no shame in doing it the same way.
Exactly.
Or taking it and altering it to whatever suits you. You don't have to rebuild the whole world from scratch.
Exactly.
Just to, use people's experience. And
yep. Oh yeah, I agree. I mean, you
don't got to go out and mill your own tires, just to get down the road. You just go, that's, that might be a poor analogy, but
it's okay. So what I was trying to say was also in school, they teach you it's bad to copy the smart kid. It's taboo. But in life, if you want to get ahead, that's what you have to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Find people that did it better or had already done it, and just do what they did.
Exactly. Exactly.
There's no, it's not gonna, as long as you're not claiming that it's your own, or trying to repackage and rebrand and sell it, as your own.
Yeah. But
it's totally fine.
I
do it every day.
It's enough to just collect an idea.
Yeah.
And get you going.
Yeah.
And just keep going.
Even with this club, with the club, I looked at what other successful clubs in the country were doing and implemented those systems and ideas into our local thing. With this podcast, I looked at other podcasts. I saw what I liked about some and didn't like about others. And, it's okay. But I never claimed to be the inventor of podcasts.
No, you don't have to be.
So
I think it's just be consistent.
Exactly.
Just keep going, and you'll figure it out along the way.
Exactly. So yeah, man. If you, I know you said you're good on 3 houses at the moment, but if you ever want to do 4, let me know, because I do have a house it's like a 3,000 square foot, 2 units, upstairs and downstairs. So it's got 2 kitchens and everything.
Oh, nice.
But they're connected.
Oh,
it's in the mountains, really peaceful, big property.
Ooh, we'll have to talk.
But it's I live there right now. But it's way too damn big for me and my girlfriend.
Got it. Okay.
It's and our cat. It's I went from 500 square feet to this place, and I'm like, I got to do something with this place eventually. It's just it's too big. We don't even go into the unit downstairs.
Oh, okay.
For weeks at a time.
Okay.
It's just we've been down there a little bit because it was hot. It was nice and cool in the basement, but Yeah, it's. I would love to turn it into some kind of like assisted living facility, but I don't want to run it.
Definitely, we'll link up. We'll put it together.
So.
I mean, like I said, I want to get really acclimated on these 3 houses.
Yeah. And I want you to also
And
go figure out all the issues and then come do mine.
Yeah, I'll have a better system in place by then. But yeah, that's the goal. Just figure out the systems, and it's no different from work, dude. I mean, on my emails, I have templates that I created. The repetitive emails, like, why am I going to type this all over again? Just copy and paste, switch up the important information, and send.
Yep, for sure.
You know, so that's the same approach I'm looking with the sober living homes. Just how can it be very effective?
And obviously, you're dealing with people, and you're dealing with people that have, some demons and some issues, and we all do, obviously, but I mean, you're definitely going to have things that pop up that your systems aren't ready for, but as long as they're mostly in place and you're prepared to handle, whatever comes at you.
Yeah. And I will say this too, like along with joining the club here, there's also like a Riverside Sober Living Coalition. So I call them, they're the parallel of us right here. It's a club for operators that have sober living homes.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. And, same thing. You pay a membership, but you have access to the network and the support system.
Gotcha.
So it's, for me, I'm like, it's a win-win. Put them both together.
Yeah, for sure.
Create that support system. I mean.
Yeah, for sure. I like that, we're definitely, we're kind of like the more overarching, like, we don't have a specialty focus other than real estate,
right.
But and there's definitely other groups out there that are more dialed in on specific things that we encourage people to join them too. Like it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt to have more people on your team.
Yeah,
or in your Rolodex or on your side.
And that goes to what Jim was saying: build your team, and it's just he hit it on the nail.
Yeah, that's the new slogan of the club is build your tribe. Yep. So, and that's Pete Fortunato talked about it all the time. He's like, I got it from him. All he talks about is just building your tribe. And, I was like, all right, well, let's thrive together go, and we'll change it to just build your tribe. Makes a lot more sense.
It's good,
it's easier. It rolls off the tongue better too.
It's good though. It's really good. And I mean, I love it.
Good, man.
I enjoy coming to the club, networking, talking to people. I mean, it's built good connections here. I mean, even to a point where, taking Andy's class, like you meet people there that are in the club that you hardly ever see or you've never seen before. Yeah. But then you start running into them at the club as well. Like, oh, I saw you here. And then.
Yeah, you start noticing people more.
Exactly. And that also gets people talking. Like, hey, you were at Andy's class, right? Yeah. And go, okay. And then what are you up to? Hey, and then you guys start talking.
Yep.
And before you know it, there's like, you could find that common interest. Like, hey, you want a JV? All right.
Yeah.
So for me, that's the end game. Just
we definitely have to, they're all over there. We just have to hang them up still. We're doing like a deal wall. Okay. That's what we got like a Polaroid camera, and we're taking pictures of everybody that's done deals together that are members.
Oh, nice.
And they're going to go up on a wall somewhere. We just really haven't decided which wall.
Okay.
And because we're constantly changing things as we figure out how to use this place. But we've got about 20, 30 pictures, and there's probably 100 more easily that we need to take. But, once you guys finalize the deals and, they're real and everybody starts making money, and take that picture and put it on the wall. And then, you'll see the people that are doing deals. They'll be on the wall.
That's the goal. I mean, but you know what? That inspires people too. Like the newcomers, the new people showing up. If I was new and I saw that, I'd be like, yeah, that's where I want to be.
Yeah.
Just make it a goal.
Yeah, exactly.
And exactly. So that's the goal. Now you mentioned that, that's the goal.
You gotta be on the wall. Yeah, multiple times.
Yeah, why
multiple
not?
Times. Hell yeah.
Championship. I'll look at them like championship banners. Like, there you go.
Exactly.
But I mean, you have to celebrate the success, and I think that's good. Like, you're celebrating it, you're sharing it, but it's also inspiring somebody to do the same.
Yeah,
and that's what it's about.
Exactly, and that's the whole thing with the the different stages and the different like avatars we put together. Because Brianna has guest avatars. We have avatars for the club of different members of how those people relate and react to other people, and and that's the idea, is that the guys at the end stage of the thing are pulling people up, and those people are pulling people up behind them.
That's what it's about, man.
So that everyone's just working together and building a bigger, better tribe.
Mm-hmm. It's that's leadership right there.
Yeah, we're trying.
No, I think we're doing. I think we're doing that. So. It's a fun journey.
Cool.
Don't care about the challenges. They're going to present themselves. So
yeah. Well, we only have a couple minutes left, but I'd like to ask people, what is obviously the FIREchat, financial independence through real estate. What does Orlando? What does financial independence mean for you? People have different ideas of what that means. Some people want to sit on a beach and drink rum all day. Some people want to and not have any problems or cares. Other people want to still do some stuff. So what is if you were 10 years from now, you were financially independent, all your bills are paid. What's a day in the life? Like, what's fulfilling?
I'd say having a peace of mind. That's valuable right there. I mean, through network marketing, I learned, a lot of things about money. It's also like educate yourself financially. But you also learn that money isn't everything, but it affects everything. Money creates options. The lack of money limits your options.
I like that. Yep.
So for me, that financial independence means peace of mind, knowing that financially I have the option to do just about anything I want. In terms of like medical bills as well, they could get paid off, and it's just that's the option that money creates.
Absolutely.
But it's also a tool, and again, it's just studying everything about my journey and everything I've done. Money's a tool, man. You could it gives you the access to whatever you want, or if you don't have it, you don't have access. Bottom line.
Yeah.
Aside from that, I mean, how cool would it be? Like, this is what was told to me back in the day. You could either travel the highways of Southern California to go to your clubs, or you could travel the beaches of the world. Going to Vegas and celebrate your birthday is cool, but going to Hawaii is better. Yeah. So it was just those little things. And you start looking at like, well, what's it going to take to do that? Money.
Yeah.
That's the financial independence. I had somebody once tell me this, that they caught 2 sunsets in one day.
Wow.
I'm like, dude, what do you mean by that? They're like, well, I was in the East Coast, caught the sunset,
Uh-huh.
starting, and then they had to fly back to the West Coast. So
that's cool.
Yeah. So I'm like, damn, that's a goal.
Yeah. That's a good one.
But again, it ties into that's financial independence.
Options.
The options. I mean, dude, how cool would it be just being able to wake up one morning and book a vacation across the other side of the world?
Yeah.
No questions asked, and it's all paid off. Pull the kids out of school. The wife, all right, we're leaving.
No.
We're gone for a month. Why? Because we want to go on vacation.
Yeah, because.
I want to go to the other side of the world.
Yep.
But to me, that's what financial independence is, having that peace of mind and the ability to have those options.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. It's very similar to me as options.
Yeah.
Like just freedom.
Yeah, exactly.
That freedom to have options.
Exactly.
And like you said, jump on a plane, sit in bed all day, whatever you want to do. Like it's just, you don't have to worry about it.
But yeah, the whole sitting in bed for me, I don't know. I like to stay active.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Hey, every once in a while, not that all day. I don't know, all day would be a stretch, but till like 9 would be great.
Yeah, it's whatever you're comfortable with. For me, it's more. How can I put it? Like, I want this really bad, and so for me, it's more like whatever I have to go through to get it. Whatever pain I got to go through as far as the growth, so be it.
Yeah, for sure.
But I only want to do that because I don't have time right now with what I do for a living to hang out with my family. So once I accomplish that, now I have the time to hang out with my family, but I'm also going to have a lot of time to dedicate my time into the business. Like I was telling somebody from the club that I was talking to yesterday, all that work ethic that was developed working at Coca-Cola, those skills, dude, I'm just going to transfer them over here.
Yeah, absolutely.
And hopefully, not hopefully, it's just after that, it's game over.
Yeah, they will. Absolutely.
Once
100%.
that transition happens, it's more now I'm able to dedicate myself a lot more to what I want to do. Building a business, spend time with my family, developing more processes and procedures, buying a boring business. But again, it's just pursuing that no matter what. And easier said than done.
Yeah, you get there. You're well on your way.
But it's totally worth it. Just looking back, me just in my journey, and I would highly encourage everybody to do the same. Just reflect on everything that you've gone through. Dude, it's like a boost of confidence. You're like, oh yeah, I did that.
Yeah.
I'm like, I got through that.
Yeah, it's also one of the other reasons I wanted to do these was, yeah, I mean, how cool is it going to be, another 5 years from now or 10 or whatever, and be able to look back on this recording and see, like, oh, I was nervous back then. And then, you maybe got your own podcast someday.
Co-host. We'll be heavily involved in here co-hosting or something. But that's a plan here for the club. For me, it's just be heavily involved once I'm able to walk away from my job.
Yeah.
Just dedicate time in the club too. There's mentors.
We need you.
There's mentors. I want to be one. But absolutely. I have to put in the work to gain that credibility first. So
Perfect.
I was like, okay.
Well, I look forward to it.
Heck yeah. It's a work in progress. So.
Right on, man. Well, we're pretty much out of time. Orlando, if people want to, I still like the options thing. That's like, just succinctly just options. I just want options. I like that. If people want to, learn more about sober living, or just they think you're a cool guy, want to get a hold of you, do some deals with you, whatever, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
You could get a hold of me through social media. Okay. Facebook, Orlando Naranjo. Instagram, Naranjo1983. Keep my names very simple.
Perfect.
We have we're starting to create our social media accounts for our company, or for the Sober Living Home. We're calling it Empowered Pathways.
Perfect.
And this week we created the Instagram account. There's no content there yet, but it's a work in progress. But if anyone's curious and wants to check that out, EP Sober Living for Instagram. And if anyone's interested in any inquiries about housing, epsoberhome@gmail.com.
Perfect.
And I stay active on the emails.
Go follow the journey, and we're excited to see what happens next, man.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, in my mind, neurons are firing about like what kind of reel could I create when we go open the house, and
you already got it going.
Oh yeah. I already know the song, the template. And so
he's already got the system down for.
Yeah, you gotta stay ahead of it, man.
I like it. All right. Well, Orlando, it's been great having you on the show. My name is Rich Rice. This has been the FIREchat podcast, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks everybody. Take care.